Hi, everybody. Erica here from In the Company of Cards. Welcome if you're new. Welcome back if you've been here a minute. I have a couple of questions that I thought it would be really interesting to look at. Uh, some of them are, just my own, and then there's one question that I had from a viewer that I thought I would look at. Hold on a minute because I don't want my mail to be dinging. So hold on a sec. I'm just going to pause the recording. Okay, I don't know what that was because it wasn't my mail dinging. But anyway, so let's start with the whole Epstein thing. So apparently, the second in command at the DOJ is going to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell to get any information that she has. So obviously, she has information. Uh, to whatever degree there are lists of people, there's certainly lists in her head of people who availed themselves, shall we say, of Epstein's um, services. And she was the procurer of the girls. So she would know who's who and what's what. It's true that the DOJ could reduce her sentence in return for information. Of course, the information would have to be whatever they decide that they want it to be, right? And Ghislaine Maxwell is a bad actor. I think we can all agree on that. And so, to whatever degree she was forthcoming with information, it would only and ever be to serve her own personal interests. And I'm going to assume that I'm not going out on a limb here to say that her personal interest is getting out of jail. And again, interesting that she's the only one serving time. I mean, I get it. Epstein's dead, but two of them weren't acting by themselves. So first thing I want to know is, will she get a reduction of her sentence? Will her sentence be reduced? So I think let's see, what do I want to pick? The tower can be a card for jail. So let's look and see if her sentence will be reduced by looking at the tower. Okay, so this is Ghislaine Maxwell in jail, or that's, the jail. Hmm. I mean, I may sound cynical, but I mean, the whole situation is quite a cynical situation. I mean, obviously, there is a story that this government wants to spin about that whole Maxwell situation. I mean, that whole Epstein situation, right? They have a vested interest in spinning a story. Ghislaine Maxwell has a vested interest in getting out of jail. So you put government people, DOJ people, together with Ghislaine Maxwell, and a story emerges that they think will satisfy the public, and then she gets a reduced sentence or gets out of jail altogether. And everything dies down and we live happily ever after. So anyway, the cards are the ship, the house, the tower that stands for jail, cross, and fish. So yeah, this thing is moving forward. They are going to talk to her at the behest of the White House. There she is in jail, which is, I hear she's in a minimum security jail in Florida. It's probably one of those, summer camp type jails. But still, it's jail, right? So she's not happy being in jail. And ultimately, everything is about money. So it's not just about who was involved, it's about where's the money. Okay. I drew just three clarifiers, one for the tower, one for the cross, one for fish. So sure enough, her jail sentence will be shortened, or that will be the carrot that they dangle in front of her, that her sentence will be shortened because the mice eat away at the previous card, so eat away at the jail sentence. So all of her pain and suffering at being in jail as opposed to on a yacht someplace, she will be put at ease. Her suffering is eased if she plays her cards right. Uh, Fish is the card for money. It's also the card for emotion. And I just feel like they want to um, tie tie her to them, the government, tie her to them, so that the story that she tells is the story that they need her to tell, um, about where the money is. Name Democrats who were on the yacht or on the island, whatever. Um, that they think that uh, this can assuage the base because they can give them names of lots of people, because fish is also about lots of people. So, of course, it's going to be lots of Democrats. You won't see any um, Supreme Court justices on there or any Republicans beyond the ones that we maybe already know about. And, we'll hear about Clinton, whoever else. But they're going to want a lot of names, but the names have to be the ones that they want. So she will be constrained. If you want your get out of jail free card, here's your script. Keep to the script. Entertainment purposes only. So, lucky Ghislaine. Let's ask another question. This is my own cynical question. Why is the Justice Department so hell-bent in seeking out Ghislaine Maxwell's testimony, and yet they do not seem at all interested in testimony of their victims, of the Maxwell Epstein victims? Why is that? So there are many. These victims are legion. A lot of them have been anxious to tell their stories and some of them have told their stories, and their stories have been ignored. So if we're all hot and heavy on the Epstein trail, why are the victims not being interviewed? Um, why aren't they being asked to testify? Let's let Spirit answer that. So I'm not choosing a significator. I just want to know why the Republicans in the administration are not asking for the victims to come forward with their testimony. I mean, I have my own theories, but let's see what Spirit has to say. Okay. So we have interesting cards. We have the scales, the tower, the anchor, the ring, and the ship. Uh, Here's what I think. I think that justice has left the building, or the search for justice in this case has left the building, sailed away, and that the government, and it's not just this government, preceding governments and people in high positions, a lot of power, those people want sort of, um, you know, the ring is circular. So they just want this circular story where we don't really get the information that's out there to get, and it's all a big mystery. And, geez, we tried, but we couldn't, couldn't get to the bottom of it, and he's dead. And so they just want to keep people in a loop about this. And then we have this anchor in the middle. And here the anchor feels very much like they'd like to bury this whole thing 6 feet under. Anchors wrapped around legs sink you to the bottom of the ocean. And why? Because justice is not operative here. Justice is not part of this equation, or else things would have been gone about very differently in this case. So now Mikey Johnson, Mighty Mike, has adjourned Congress for the next 6 weeks. So they're starting their summer break early. And this is not for good behavior or anything. It's because he's hoping that if everybody disperses, this all of this brouhaha around the Epstein trial, which implicates, of course, his fearless leader, and more than that, maybe even him, yeah, him, who knows, entertainment purposes only. He's hoping that this will all die down. So I would like to know, will this early departure from DC of the House cause the Epstein situation to die down? What will this early vacation do? We'll let Spirit pick all the cards for this one too. No, you know what? We won't. I'm going to use a card just so that you can continue to see how significators function. I'm going to use Clover, because Clover implies something premature. And here it's the premature uh, um, hiatus that they're going on. So they're leaving early. Okay. So Clover, what will be the consequences in terms of the Epstein trial? I mean, the Epstein case, the Epstein controversy. Um, what will their leaving early and having an extended break do to that issue, the Epstein issue? The problem for 47. All right. So what did I say? Clover. Deep in the deck. Okay. So this is the early dismissal from duty of Congress at the request of Mike Johnson. He's just trying to get everybody out of town so that people will stop talking about the Epstein thing. Will that happen? Okay, interesting. Clouds, scales, clover, key, and moon. Okay, here's what I think. Uh, Clouds. Remember, the whole point of them going home early is to have everybody forget about it. It's kind of like when Johnson says, yeah, everything needs to be put out in the open. And then when there's a vote about putting everything, all the documents out in the open, he and the other Republicans vote against it. So, they're talking out of both sides of their mouths and they're confused. They're trying to confuse the issue. Nothing to see here, folks. We would love to show you, but there's nothing to see, you know? This is going to cast a pall, I mean, as if we don't have a big enough pall on the reputation of Mighty Mike and his House Republicans. The Democrats don't want to leave, and a lot of Republicans don't want to leave, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's on the right side of this issue. So this people are going to say, wait a minute. People in general in the public, wait a minute. We thought you wanted to get to the bottom of this and now you're going home? It will not do them any favors. It will make people say, you all are looking shady. And it will make the case that really something needs to be done. This is justice. And the key is getting to the bottom of this. Why are the Republicans talking out of both sides of their mouths here? Why is that? Why does Trump say he wants the thing, oh, let everybody see everything? On the other hand, there's nothing to see. What? Because getting to the bottom of this issue, it's more than just the Epstein stuff. It will get to the bottom of a lot of kind of cesspool behavior that goes on both sides of the aisle in government and industry. So I think that people going home early will not have the effect that Mighty Mike wants. I think it'll backfire and cause people to say, wait, what? What do you mean you're going home? And by the way, don't think people won't hear from their constituents during their break. Because when they are on their breaks, it's not like they're just sort of sitting on their porch rocking in their rocking chairs. They're cutting ribbons and they're going to state fairs and they're meeting and greeting their constituents. And their constituents are going to have some hard questions for them, and they're not going to have answers. So this is a really short-sighted move on the part of Mighty Mike. Really short-sighted. Okay. Um, what's Mighty Mike afraid of? As if we don't know. Let's look anyway. So Mighty Mike, we'll use the older man for him. He's not old, but let's just be mean and use the older man for him. What is Mighty Mike afraid of? Okay, we're looking for the older man. That's going to stand for Mighty Mike Johnson. Mealy-mouthed Mighty Mike. What's he afraid of? Okay, so we have the young man, the anchor, Mighty Mike Johnson, the young woman, and the cross. This is very simple. I can say it in a sentence. He's afraid of MAGA, of being sunk by MAGA, both the Congress, losing the Congress, and just personally afraid of MAGA being brought down. He is uh, he's feeling his loss of power. I mean, every time 47 opens his mouth, Mighty Mike and whatever that woman, that blonde woman spokesperson, um, have to kind of dig him out or and dig themselves out. So they're feeling really disempowered. And the last card is the cross. He's afraid of the MAGA base, Mighty Mike, of their anger, of their pain, of their hurt, of the way that they've been used and abused. He doesn't want he doesn't want that turned around on him because he's read about Mussolini too. So that's why he's afraid. He's afraid. So, again, like a little kid, if you've ever had a little kid and you play hide and seek or peekaboo, peekaboo, and the kids go like this, they think you can't see them, but meanwhile, you see them going like this. He thinks if they run away back home to their home districts, nobody sees them. Everybody will see them, and everyone will blame him for why they went home early instead of handling this that thing that the whole country wants handled or addressed anyway. All right. Anyway, that's enough about that. We'll see. We'll see what's coming. It's it's an interesting summer. It will be an even more interesting fall. I think there will be many falls in the fall, and we'll look at that later on, uh, another time. But a viewer had a question, and I thought I would look at that. So they asked me about something called the Esther Project, Esther. So let me tell you where the name comes from. Esther was a young Jewish woman, and uh, she there was a Persian king, and this Persian king was tired of his wife, so he got rid of his wife. And so there was a guy close to the court, a Jewish guy, and he said, "Well, I know somebody who might be a good wife for you," and introduced him to Esther. And Esther was a young Jewish woman, and what she's known for is as a queen who um, saved her people. So there is a festival every year called I think it's Purim, which tells the story of Esther and her bravery, um, and it speaks to um, you know she being responsible for having saved at this particular point in time Jews from um, oppression. I guess deliverance from their enemies, deliverance, I guess, from the Persians. By the way, Persia is the old name of modern day Iran. So, what is Project Esther? Because this is an old story. So, what's that got? Why are they naming it Project Esther? Well, who's naming it? The Heritage Foundation, which is an ultra conservative think tank, largely responsible for things like Project 2025, has initiated this Project Esther. On the face of it, what it purports to do, what it claims to do, is to root out anti-Semitism by suppressing pro-Palestinian um, protests and rhetoric. So they wouldn't like me too much. Now, on the face of it, you might say, "Oh, well, okay, the Esther Project, it wants to stamp out anti-Semitism. That's a good thing, right?" Yes, it's a good thing to stamp out anti-Semitism. That's true. But isn't it interesting that the people who initiated this are the Heritage Foundation. The people who support it tend to be evangelical Christian organizations, and that there is not a single um, major Jewish organization in this country supporting the Esther Project. Wouldn't you think they'd be all over it? Grateful to the Heritage Foundation for founding this program? No. Okay. There are wheels within wheels, as literature tells us. And the wheels within wheels here is the fact that uh, you know what's going on at all of these schools, right? All of these Ivy League schools that are being called anti-Semitic with an eye towards having to bend the knee and give their keys to the administration so that the administration can tell them what to teach, how to teach, et cetera, et cetera. The administration and Project Esther and the Heritage Foundation, under the auspices of championing Jews against and being against anti-Semitism, it's a smokescreen. It's a smokescreen because what they really want to do is destroy intellectualism, destroy these institutions. And they are using anti-Semitism as a scapegoat, which is to say that essentially Jews, when you think about it, are being scapegoated once again. They're being used because when when institutions fall, like universities and companies and things like that, when they fall and they do the post-mortem on why, it would be very easy to say it's the fault of the Jews. Meanwhile, the Jews did not ask for this organization to be created, nor did they ask for the administration to go after, uh, schools for anti-Semitism. So I'm going to look at this Esther project, and I want to look and see what is their motivation. But before I do that, I wanted to say, if you've been here for a minute, you know that I was just really upset that it seemed kind of like under cover of night. Harvard got rid of a lot of its supports for uh, students of color, um, and women, by the way. I heard about it through an alumni um, organ, and but I had heard nothing from the university at all. I mean, I hadn't read anything. I wasn't expecting. Well, yeah, I was expecting to get, something that the alumni would be sent explaining why they did what they did. Nothing, nothing, nothing. So a couple of weeks ago, I read the letter that I wrote to the president of uh, Harvard. And today I got a response. Here's the response. Thank you for writing, Erica. Harvard's commitment to fostering a community that is free from discrimination and harassment has not changed. Supporting all students and ensuring that they feel welcome remains a top priority. I appreciate having your perspective. Best regards, Alan. This is Alan Garber, the president of Harvard. I didn't know we were on a first name basis like that, but okay. Anyway, clearly a form letter. We don't know each other like that, nor will we. Um, Harvard is feeling the pressure. I think, of course, they will win this particular suit. That is being decided currently. There were arguments, I guess, yesterday, and the judge has to make her decision and come down on one side or the other. And I suspect that, of course, she will rule in Harvard's favor because she seemed to be quite skeptical of the government's case. But the government is going to keep coming at Harvard, keep coming at Harvard, keep coming at Harvard. And so again, from what I understand, there has been some capitulation. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought, but I mean, that didn't address what I asked him about. So, you know. So my point there in bringing up in reading that response is the fact that these universities really are under siege. They're being accused of being anti-Semitic. Um, you're always going to find stuff at universities. They're communities, right? And there is anti-Semitism at Harvard, just like there's a lot of other things at Harvard and everywhere else. Um, but the drawing attention to it in the way that the government has at Harvard, at Columbia, at other universities is it's a smokescreen, and it's meant to destroy the institutions, to put them under the thumb of a government, to dictate what they teach, whom they hire, whom they admit, that kind of thing. The Jewish thing is just it's a convenient uh, excuse. And in the end, they will try to come out as though the government will try to come out as though they are championing a downtrodden group. But you know what happens in the end? The downtrodden group will be the one that's blamed. So, my question was, what's up with the Heritage Foundation's Project Esther? What is their true intention? You know, not their not their intention for public consumption, which is that they are trying to, well, their stated intention is to eliminate Palestinian support. Wherever they see support for Palestinians, they want to crush it. And they're saying they're doing it to eradicate anti-Semitism, as though being pro-Palestinian and being anti-Semitic are synonymous, and they are not. They're not. I'm against genocide, and the Palestinians are experiencing genocide at the hands of Israel with help from the US and other governments. That's a fact. So, but anyway, what is the Heritage Foundation Project Esther's um, real intention? Let Spirit pick all the cards. Okay. And this will be the last question. Okay, so Spirit's picking everything. And we're looking at the Esther project, Project Esther. What is it really all about? So we have the ship and Clover. So we've seen these cards already today. The bear is the center card. And I always say the center card is really important. The scythe and the lily. So here's what I think, or what it looks like to me. They have an agenda that they want to move forward. On the face of it, seems okay. They want to eradicate anti-Semitism. That's nice, right? That's a good thing to do. But remember what I said. What they really want to do is uh, two things. Help Israel destroy the Palestinians. And number two, they would like to destroy the intellectual independence and autonomy of the higher education system here by by making these universities um, agree to these incredibly ridiculous terms about whom to hire, whom to admit, what to teach. So, but it's dressed up to look all happy. We're the friends of the Jews. We're against anti-Semitism. They don't care about that. I always tell you that the card in the middle is really important. We're talking about Project Esther here. What's the point of Project Esther? The bear. It's to bully academic and other institutions into bowing the knee, bending the knee, bowing the head, agreeing to conditions that are untenable for any university worth its salt. And again, they're using this smokescreen, but it's a bullying move to eradicate dissent in terms of what Israel is doing to Palestine, which is, again, let me add, genocide. So come for me, Project Esther. I'm right here. Uh, but they're also trying to destroy free thought, free speech, and an autonomous, independent academia. Destroy. That's what this is. They're destroying it again with a smile and a false in a costume. We're anti-Semitic. We can't explain to you why no Jewish organizations support us and why only evangelical and white nationalist Christian organizations support us. But trust us, we are, we want to eradicate anti-Semitism. Come on. Now. And the final card is the lily. They want a peaceful, passive, compliant population. And this is part of that, what blueprint to get to that place. So that's Project Esther. Don't believe the hype. It is not what they say they are. They are clearly pro-genocide, pro uh, pro making Jews ultimately the scapegoats for this, and pro destroying academia. I mean, you see how anodyne that response was from my new best friend Alan, the president of Harvard. That response said nothing. It didn't speak to what my concerns were because he's got to walk this very tight rope. Um, I feel for him, but you know what? It's lonely at the top, right? Um, but you know, great things are required of people who are given much. He's been given this position. And so therefore, as an alumna, I'm expecting a little bit more than that. Anyway, so that's that. I won't see you tomorrow because tomorrow's Wednesday, and that's the day that I write my Substack. Thank you all for your kind comments and your email messages and your likes and shares and subscribes and your support of the channel and the many ways that you've supported it to date. I really am grateful. I've had a few people ask me how they can get on the list to get a free reading on August 1st, which is this channel's first anniversary. There is no list. It's going to be live, which means that at the appointed time, which I have not indicated yet, um, I will go live, at which point whoever has posed the first question will get the first answer, and then on down the line. I will be there for a couple of hours. I pull about 5 cards for each person. Try to talk fast. People love it. People say that it's been really helpful to them, those people who've gotten these free readings. But you cannot get on any list uh, to be selected. You just have to be around when I do these free readings. So I will announce in advance the time, closer to the day, And it will be, what did I say? I said the first, right? Oh, yeah, it's a Friday, August 1st. And I think it'll be really good. And it's my way of thanking you for your many kindnesses to me and to this channel. So I will see you soon, not tomorrow. If you want your fix of In the Company of Cards, go over to Substack and read what I write. I don't know what that's going to be, but um, I invite you over there. It's free to read. And I'll see you later in the week. Okay, take care, everybody.